Allez, les 10 dernières minutes de cette rencontre, on sait que ça va vite dans le football. Et Sherendoy qui n'arrive pas à prendre ce ballon.
So, do you fancy a chicken Kiev tonight, or... Jesus Christ, where did that come from? Oh my goodness me, it's knocking over everything. Alan, you've got to do something. Jenny, what do you want me to do in this situation? Oh God, not the plates, man. It's going up the stairs. We live in a bungalow. How is that even? Oh Lord. Oh, sorry to interrupt. I know I kicked the ball up here. We kind of need it back so we can get back into the match. And oh, Jesus Christ. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This, of course, the series where it brings you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, there were weird scenes in London as horses ended up on the loose running through the city. One of the more normal days in London. Honestly, with TFL prices these days, that probably still cost the horses a tenner somehow. One of them was injured after a collision with a bus. New Carlo Ancelotti should have taken his Real Madrid one back to Spain. I tell you what, they've got decent movement as they're running through the streets. If they end up in West London, they'll be getting a trial at Chelsea when Todd Bowley's convinced that 4 legs equals twice the player. Yeah, you know what, mate? I'm taking the penalties. Fuck you all. Alright, well, that's a wrap, guys. I reckon I wouldn't say anything crazy's happened in football this week. What the? Yo, delivery. Fuck off! I'm gonna lose it, ladies and gentlemen. You can't rely on these lot for anything. Genuinely, we're done. We're done. I don't even care. No sport again. We are the Licensed Letdown Legion. Expert Error Enterprises. The Specialist Setback Society. Almost all hopes of a farewell league title for Jurgen Klopp fell apart for Liverpool as we lost the Merseyside derby to Everton 2-0.
Title fight? Get in there! Get in there! You beauty!
Of all the games to shit their bed in a title race like this is not the one, Chief. Hope is now completely lost, which is not an unusual thing at Goodison Park, but this is a completely different level.
I'm lighting this Jiggy up now.
A study was released this week suggesting that sport enhances well-being. Well, I'll tell you for facts, I was not involved in this study. We deserve a points deduction after the form that we've been in recently, because the Reds must have thought the game started on Thursday. Virgil van Dijk was not best pleased, saying that we will never be winning the league if we perform like that. They thought he was finished after the Carabao Cup. We are finished, I'm afraid to say.
It's a hard one to take.
Because the date for the farewell tour? Today. And you know what? Darwin Nunez, look, I've defended this guy and I still love him, alright? But the guy was absolutely useless in front of goal once again. And if he even dares turn up to the AXA training ground tomorrow, he'll be finding out quickly that he ain't getting in. He's missed 26 big chances. And to confirm the rest of our wastefulness, Mo Salah and Luis Diaz also appear on this list. We're just never going to win the league if we waste as many chances as we do. I'll bring it up to the cows come home. You know, the stat that we've had 90 shots against United this season, and we haven't beaten them in any games whatsoever. We do this in every single match that we play, genuinely. And we were always going to get caught out for it eventually. Poor Darwin, bless him, man. He's probably still unaware of the state of play. When the documentary comes to film him, it's a nature documentary at that point, bro.
Juguemos por algo más que una victoria. Juguemos por el futuro de nuestro planeta.
The language barrier may be an impact as well. He's getting told that he's turning up for a shooting drill and he arrives with a magnum in his hand.
He's bloody missed it! What a prat!
Defensively, we were drinking magnums here. The defending for the first goal was an absolute car crash, and Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't do himself too many favours for the second.
Oh, jeezy.
Overall, both 45 minutes, disappointing.
Half enough, half shit, and half shit. Wake the fuck up.
Luis Diaz was at least trying, and he'll be trying to convince Jurgen Klopp to stay at the club, only to realise that offering Jurgen his own dad is actually a worse deal than him receiving nothing at all.
Oh shit! Yo, give me one second, man. Where you going? Relax, man. Let's negotiate, man.
Yeah, we're done. Look, listen, and I know I'm a privileged guy. We're fighting for league titles and trophies, and I'm so happy that we have won the Carabao Cup, especially in the way that we did. But it is such a shame to crash out like this, mainly in Jurgen Klopp's final season. He objectively does not deserve to go out like this, and unfortunately the players have let him down really when it matters in the final month. So we'll come back to his potential replacement later, but first of all, in a competition we're also out of, the FA Cup. It was a dramatic week, but we'll start with Coventry versus Manchester United. The Red Devils were up 3-0 and the championship underdogs looked completely out of it, only to produce one of the all-time FA Cup comebacks to take it to extra time with a score at 3-3. United had been outplayed by a university, you know. Half of their squad have come from a lecture for this. Poor Jadon Sancho will be disappointed, realising he could have got a placement through clearing if he was still at United and not out on loan. Meanwhile, for United fans, they were struggling to pick a man of the match performance for this one.
And who's your favourite player? None of them. They're all rubbish.
So the game goes to extra time, and in the final minute, the unthinkable occurs.
It's in! It's one of the most remarkable comebacks in FA Cup history!
Victor Torp had given the Sky Blues the most famous result in the history of the competition, but there was a VAR check.
Is it worth going through this anguish every week?
What has happened to the game that I love, honestly? First of all, the lines have been drawn over the boot of the Coventry player, but not over Wan-Bissaka. This is an offside that objectively is not given if VAR doesn't exist. And I know what you're thinking. Niran, you're saying that because United are benefiting from it. And I completely understand. And I kind of agree. No, I'm joking. Let's take a Liverpool example that's actually benefited us. The Romelu Lukaku offside from like a couple of years ago in the Carabao Cup final. Exactly the same. No way that is given as an offside if VAR doesn't exist. Does it even need to be given as an offside realistically? No. It's one of those benefit of the doubt for the attacker decisions that was made back in the day. But nowadays, VAR decisions have their mindset from the jump. Another separate angle, like, looked pretty definitive that the Coventry attacker here was actually onside as well. I don't know. It's a joke and it really, really ruined an unbelievable moment. It goes to penalties and, of course, Manchester United win. Cov supporters weren't too pleased with the outcome and United players were too embarrassed to even celebrate, given the car crash of throwing away a 3-goal lead to a team in the division below. Well, all were embarrassed apart from Anthony.
Check his hard drive.
This is me after beating my 5-year-old cousin on FC24. Celebrating this is criminal activity, especially when you came on and you were winning 3-0 and simply your attendance caused your whole team to bottle it. Well done, he's 13th in the championship.
Get in there!
Even Neil Mopay said he wouldn't do this for fuck's sake. Anthony's been outrun by his 71-year-old club owner this week, and he's still doing this. But at least it's a change of topic about the Brazilian, right? At least it's not people talking about how shit he actually is. Poor Rasmus Højlund turned round and saw everybody go down the tunnel. Better to say he was emotional when he realised no one was going to celebrate with him.
It's not over.
Through the middle. Look, in fairness to him, it's another game without a chance.
But shout out to Harry Maguire, who went straight over to the Coventry players to at least congratulate them on what was probably the performance of their lives, genuinely. As for Manchester City, though, they'll at least be gassed seeing that they got the easier tie. As I mentioned, Man City are into the final for an all-Manchester affair after a late win versus Chelsea. But this did not tell the full story. Ian Wright looked like he was in trouble and strife on his journey to Wembley. Where is this guy driving, brother? Did someone swap out a Boeing 747 for a Vauxhall Astra? Either that or he's in the Chamber of Secrets, mate. The difference in semi-final squads here was absolutely ridiculous, by the way. This is a family barbecue with cousins that you have never met in your life. Into the game, though, when Chelsea were getting the majority of the chances. Nicholas Jackson was clean through on goal and managed to achieve 0.0 XG from this position. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
That's what I say about stats. They're like bikinis. What?
No, go on.
Explain that analogy, bro. I've always said stats are like bikinis. What they show you is interesting, but what they don't show you is equally as interesting.
That's very profound. That's very profound.
I've got to say, I do feel like Chelsea's assessment of the situation was a little bit harsh. And Nicholas Jackson, I told you that footwear was not going to be suitable. This guy was shocking in front of goal. Chelsea wasted so many opportunities generally, though. How is Ben Chilwell not passing from here? The guy's got high ping. He's on Internet Explorer. What I will say, though, is Chelsea can still feel hard done by, as this free kick burst through the Man City wall, was handled by Jack Grealish, who moved his arm towards the ball and somehow wasn't given as a pen. This is a terrible decision by VAR and the referee. How do you look at this happen and then give a goal kick? Fucking hell. The referees could be asked to look between Q and M on their keyboard and they wouldn't see anything. The most disappointing thing about all of this, though, we didn't get a WWE tables, ladders and chairs scrap for who would take the penalty. But Chelsea would be made to pay for those missed opportunities as Bernardo Silva gave Man City the win. A real emotional roller coaster of a week for him. Turns out if Petrovic in the Chelsea net had just stood still, he probably would have saved it. Guys, are you sure I shouldn't Panenka this? What the fuck did we tell you last week? Have you not learned anything, fucking heavens, Bernard? Kevin De Bruyne got the assist here, and Conor Gallagher couldn't hold in his anger towards the Belgian.
Bye, you ginger.
There was an outburst of emotion from Thiago Silva as well. The veteran centre-back, probably playing in one of his final club semi-finals, could be seen crying at full time, in contrast to Noni Madueke in the background, who was laughing and joking with Jack Grealish. This guy has a completely different mindset when he's out of a tournament in a devastating defeat versus not being allowed to take a corner kick. And things got even worse for Chelsea in the league, as they were absolutely peppered by Arsenal, with the Gunners continuing to put pressure on Man City for the league. Chelsea shit! Before the game, and Cole Palmer was ruled out, Maurizio Pochettino laid down the challenge for his Blues side, saying that the football club is not named after their star man. Pussy or what? Say something. Yeah, look, listen, Poch, I think you might be getting a copyright claim from Palmer's FC because the name change is imminent. The reason for Cole Palmer's absence was that he was out with the flu. Cold Palmer really is an accurate description. Cole Vix Palmer. The guy's called in sick, and I respect it a lot. He's seen his shift for the day, and he said, I'm not coming in, mate. He went to the school nurse and got himself a doctor's note. Right, so I think what you're gonna need here, love, is a blue paper towel. And poor Axel Disasi knew what time it was when his side couldn't rely on Cole Palmer's cold shoulders.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
In an era of advanced tactics and forward-thinking play, Chelsea really are a standout by not deploying any of those things. Now, actress Anne Hathaway confirmed that she is in fact an Arsenal fan this week in an interview and said that she likes Leandro Trossard as a baller. Well, he scored the first goal here. He really turned on the style when he found out that Anne was sat in the home end. But Chelsea letting Kai Havertz roll out on them as well is absolutely crazy. If he'd scored a hat-trick in this one, he would have been crowd surfing, mate. In the end, it was only 2 goals, something that Chelsea seemed to predict 2 years ago. But on this day, and they refused to even name him when Arsenal scored on Twitter.
We do not speak his name.
Imagine my shock when Chelsea are only mentioning White. But at the other end of the pitch for Chelsea, and Nicholas Jackson once again stunk up the place. How are you missing from this situation? Look at the area that you could have struck. The guy's got more chance of bagging Astrid Wet than he has a goal at the moment.
Maybe you need a little motivation.
Meanwhile, if I'm Cole Palmer, I don't give a shit if I've had a Nurofen or not. I'm walking onto the pitch and I'm stopping Raheem Sterling from taking a free kick as well. If I'm him, I'm taking all of my teammates' kicks. Goal kicks, drop balls. I'm driving the bus home. He's the only competent one there.
This is the face of someone whose coach didn't turn up to take them to Paris.
And the fans have recognised that too. One young fan said he didn't even want their players' shirts if they weren't willing to put in the sacrifices to play for it. But things were a lot more positive and a lot more romantic in the home end. I used to know what happiness felt like too. Yeah, look, it's all well and good. Yeah, they both support Arsenal and that. But things are going to get a little bit techie indeed when they realise that their newborn son is a Tottenham fan.
I can't be bothered, man.
There was controversy again in a basement battle between Forest and Everton, as the East Midlanders were denied a hat-trick of penalties that could have all been given away by Ashley Young. There were 2 pretty shocking challenges and a handball as well. The handball decision a little bit questionable, but the other 2 were stonewallers. No idea how Forest haven't got a draw here. If Forest had gone forward for a 4th attack, Ashley Young would have been preparing to cook up an absolutely derogatory foul. Now, Nuno's side were not pleased about this and put a statement out on Twitter, an extremely damning one, calling out the VAR official being a Luton fan and the fact that the integrity of the league was in question. Someone forgot to log into the fan account before they tweeted. They wanted to do it at half-time. Could you imagine the Premier League preparing an 88-point deduction for these lot if they tweeted that at half-time? Mike Dean said it was absolutely outrageous to question officials. You are one to talk, boss. You didn't give Chelsea a penalty purely because your mate had a difficult game. And I just don't think rival fans should be laughing about this sort of thing. Like, I get it, banter, whatever. But when a statement comes out, back it as well, because we're all getting dicked by terrible, terrible refereeing decisions. It'll be your club next, all right? The actual standard of officiating in this country is a shocker. So when a team's daring enough to stand up and talk about it, back them. Even if it benefits your team. Laugh at them as well, but back them too. Forest requested for the VAR audio to be released, and we have it here. Fucking hell, are you crazy? He's slid in. He's not got anywhere near the ball. He's left him on the floor. It's a penalty. That's absolutely disgraceful. So am I overturning the on-field decision then, or wait, what? No, I'm talking about Ultimate Team, bro. I'm playing right now. I've just been tackled. The referee ain't giving anything. All I need you to actually look at the screen. Is this a penalty? Oh, I don't know. Fuck it. What team's playing? What do you mean what team's playing? Forest are playing. Yeah, well then it's not a penalty then, is it? Yeah, just play off. It caused a big old ruckus on social media, but Ashley Young wasn't going to let that distract him from rattling Forest fans, posting Justin Timberlake's Cry Me a River on Twitter and Insta. Yeah, it's a shithousery award. The man couldn't even hide it in the post-match interview.
Most are saying that the one on Callum Hudson-Odoi, you're sure that you got a touch on the ball, that was the right decision?
None of them were given, were they?
But come on, what's that face saying? It's saying none of them were given.
Hey, you know what? Maybe he deserved that bird to shit in his mouth. If we zoom in on the bird a second, hold on. But back at the other end of Merseyside, and Liverpool's hunt for a replacement for Jurgen Klopp seems to be approaching its end, as we were in talks with Arne Slot, the current Feyenoord manager. Before that, though, and we were linked with Gary O'Neill. I swear to God, if we go from Jurgen Klopp to a man called Gareth, it will be the end of me. To be fair, though, I think the players would prefer the Dutchman as an option too. Imagine Trent Alexander-Arnold mishearing that Arne Slot is signing for Liverpool. The only thing is, though, we're getting inducted into El Baldico, bro.
No hair will ever grow on his head again.
Personally, though, I think he'll be straight out of there when he arrives at training and watches Darwin Núñez conduct a shooting drill for the first time. Will he be a perfect fit for the Reds? I mean, tactically, it'll be a move that I think would work well for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Plus, he laughs whilst his side's losing, so I mean, that's a straight-up replacement. Can't lie, though, I feel like Arne will be a little bit suspicious when he finds Jurgen's secret stash of inhalers.
Don't even know what to say anymore. Don't even know what to say.
But at least we'll be happy when he realises Klopp left a number for his dentist on his office table. Now, at Crystal Palace, they're playing some beautiful football at the moment. Jean-Philippe Mateta might be the best striker in the world, and there's good vibes all the way through the club, even up to their owner, John Textor, who's out here looking like Tony Hawk. Maybe not quite with the same. Mate, keep up this limb damage, you'll be no knee hawk. One Man City fan was left confused when he saw Ruben Diaz filming an advert in his next-door neighbour's back garden. Well, it's better than what Jack Grealish was doing after rummaging through his next-door neighbour's wine cabinet. And at Aston Villa, Castor, their kit supplier, are back at it again. These lot are completely useless. They can't even print the lion of the badge the right way round. At Manchester United, and one of their chefs fell ill this week after getting an electric shock. Honestly, I genuinely think Chernobyl is more stable than Old Trafford at the moment. That one-star hygiene rating really coming into effect here when the chef goes to taste the bolognese he's made before plating up. Luke Shaw is having more portions than anyone else at the club. That's why he's out injured all the time. The guy's got asbestos poisoning. London Marathon happened this week, and if you thought football fans weren't going to take the opportunity to bring football banners, then you'd be sorely mistaken. Meanwhile, on the women's side of the game in the Champions League, and Chelsea unbelievably beat Barcelona away from home at the Nou Camp in the knockout stages. That's the first loss for Barca's feminine side in 5 years at home. They are genuinely undefeatable most of the time. Get Chelsea's women's side playing in the men's Premier League. Now, over in Spain, and we had a ridiculous El Clasico this week. There was absolute chaos late here in La Liga as Jude Bellingham won it for Real Madrid again in stoppage time. And it's fair to say Real fans are under this Don's spell. I saw Viz tweet about this. Jude Bellingham's career is basically, like, it's got to be the journey part 2, because the storylines are getting a little bit too perfect now. Match fixed. There was controversy here though as well. Barca feeling as though they should have had a goal here, only for the ref to not give it because he didn't think the ball had crossed the line. No goal line technology in La Liga in big old 2024, by the way. It's absolutely crazy. Barca's Spanish account on Twitter thought it was a goal, but Florentino Perez in the VAR room had other ideas.
It's not totally over the line. That's not a goal. Look.
Yeah, look, you see, if we zoom in here, it's absolutely not a goal, mate. Lamine Yamal will have been disappointed with another defeat here for Barca. He officially becomes the youngest man to lose El Clasico. Though according to Girona fans, him and Modric here are the same age, and Luka will have been gassed seeing Lamine Yamal for the first time since their Year 8 PE sessions together. Fermin Lopez thought he'd done the business for Barca here in this game with a Jude Bellingham celebration, only for Jude to come along and ruin it for him. Meanwhile, Spera thought for this fan, assaulted when a Barcelona player decided to yam the ball into the stands. Antonio Rudiger doesn't care for all that drama though. He's just trying to scare a security guard. The Real's Toni Kroos appeared on TV and he was tasked with the challenge of doing kick-ups backwards up some stairs. And if Nicholas Jackson tries it, he's spraining his ankle within 3 seconds. But don't let this distract you from Toni Kroos' terrible trim for the last decade. Now over in Italy, and Inter Milan earned their 2nd star as they were crowned Serie A champions. Their 20th title in total, and what a game to do it in against AC Milan, their sworn rivals, in a game that had 3 red cards in it. A perfect Milan derby. Though not for Francesco Acerbi when he sees that Marcus Thuram scored as well. And speaking of Marcus Thuram, honestly, what a season for him and Lautaro Martinez, who combined to put together around about 60 goal contributions. It's a great story as well for Marcus, his dad of course, Lilian Thuram, winning the Serie A title with Juventus. That's 2 lines of the family tree victorious in Italy. I really do like the star system. I'd like to see that adopted across like other like domestic leagues. The star that Liverpool would have in the Premier League era wouldn't quite be as as good, to be honest with you. But if you thought this game was all anger and aggression, you'd be sorely mistaken, because Lautaro Martinez and my nan were really going for it. You can't lips my nan like that. That's outrageous behaviour.
Nan, oh my gosh, Nan.
Meanwhile, in a video call afterwards, and Hakan Çalhanoğlu and Marcus Thuram were both joking with Inter Milan's president about the fact that they've been bought for free, a price less than a cup of coffee, and that they deserved a big present from their president because of that. Inter have absolutely smashed Serie A this season, but Bologna have as well. They are on course for a Champions League spot against all odds after victory against Roma this week. Stars like Joshua Zirkzee have really broken through this campaign, and of course their manager, Thiago Motta. What a job he's done. Daniele De Rossi is doing a sensational job as manager too. Since he's come in at Roma, obviously apart from the Bologna result, he has been doing a great job. But do not interrupt this man if he's down on the touchline. Sir, please take the jacket. It's currently hailing and you have hypothermia. Like, in Brazil, there's the news that Endrick and his girlfriend have a relationship contract to ensure they both stay happy at all times. This seems a little bit over the top, doesn't it? Imagine being a poor girlfriend when you break up, but Endrick activates his buyback clause in the small print. This can't run in normal walks of life. If I do this and she asks for a wage rise, but my CPM's low for the month, it's Kalas. In Germany, there were more late dramatics from Bayer Leverkusen as they snatched a 1-1 draw late in the 98th minute to maintain their unbeaten season. Josip Stanisic was the hero again here in the 98th. Honestly, at this point, Xabi Alonso must be late to anything. Don't worry, babes, I'm here. I'm here for the birth. See, that's what I'm talking about, with 3 seconds to spare. Honestly, do the ultrasound and it's not a baby in there, I'm telling you now. He'd be a different manager altogether if games were only 80 minutes. The guy would be a fraud if he was managing at AFCON. But no, genuinely, honestly, Leverkusen fans, I don't know how your cholesterol level does it, to be fair. And there was beef in this one as well between Leverkusen and Dortmund players, a scrap breaking out, and somehow Victor Boniface ended up getting a red card.
Why did I get picked up?
On the topic of Dortmund, and centre-back Mats Hummels tweeted saying that he was happy with the Farmers League teams that had done obviously so well to reach the semi-finals of the Champions League, a shithousery award for the German centre-back. Meanwhile, in France, and a helicopter arrived at Brest versus Monaco to deliver their match ball. So that's where Ian Wright had ended up. Just drop it out of the plane for fuck's sake. Now that it's time for your goals of the week, we've got some more special strikes again. First of all, we head over to America in the 2nd division of US football, where Javier Nevarez for El Paso Locomotive has picked up the ball from halfway, and you know what happens from here. Speaking of distance, and over in Georgia, we've got an absolute screamer from Georgi Akaladze. This is an old school footballing rocket in off the crossbar. But finally, undoubtedly the best goal here comes from South Korea, where if you want acrobatics, John Byung-kwan has got those in abundance. This finish, absolutely ridiculous. Hello all and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Văn Trường biết mình phải làm gì.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Now, over in the Netherlands, and pour one out for Vitesse Arnhem, a side who've been ever present in the Eredivisie for the last 35 years. They've been known for being kind of like a feeder club for Chelsea about 10 years ago. A lot of loanees going there. But unfortunately, times are tough for them right now. They are going through financial crisis. And after an issue with their Eredivisie licensing, they've been docked 18 points, leaving them relegated and on -1 for the season. Hopefully, they get out of that situation, because it'd be a big team to lose. On the opposite side of the coin, in terms of the smaller teams, San Marino are doing the unthinkable in the women's game. I told you about the fact they scored 4 goals in a match, their under-16s women's side. Well, they've actually managed to win a game, technically, on penalties versus Estonia. The rise of San Marino, lads, it's coming. We could be on the verge of the rise of another nation too, as Greek side Olympiakos won the UEFA Youth League with a sensational bicycle kick in the final. The first time a Greek club has ever won a UEFA competition. Well, like, other than the Euros. In Austria, though, things aren't going quite as well for Rapid Vienna's goalkeeper against Sturm Graz, as he comes to collect the ball and then forgets about the collection part. Celebrating before you've even scored, by the way, is absolutely outrageous. Now, on the topic of celebrations, and there was a lot going on between Al Ahly and ENPPI in the youth leagues of Egypt, because both teams on the final day of the season thought they'd won the league. I don't know if there was a bit of a miscommunication between like the tiebreaker. I think they ended up on the same amount of points. So both teams thought that their result had been enough. In the end, ENPPI were crowned champions and Al Ahly were left with egg on their faces. You gotta crack an egg to end up with egg on your face though, and this voice from a Hearts fan could probably do the job.
You and your club done! You and your club done!
Score!
That isn't a voice crack, mate. That is a voice shatter. And staying on the Scottish theme, at Celtic, we've got a kit man trying to give tactical advice here during a water break. Quite rightfully, though, Brendan Rodgers ain't happy and tells him to stick to fabric conditioners. Right, so think of the match as like a washing machine, all right? So there's a lot of cycles that you go through. Steven, get the fuck away from this guy. In Argentina, and the rivalry between Boca Juniors and River Plate is unimaginable to us European folk, and things were getting violent down by the corner flag. No hiding this challenge. Has he even been... He hasn't been sent off. Of course he's not. It's South America. At Brandywell in Ireland, I believe, and a flare was thrown onto the pitch. It was starting to burn through the turf, only for a random child to run onto the pitch and take it away before anybody else could. Should, like, the authorities be doing that instead, like a steward maybe, not like an 8-year-old. In Saudi Arabia, and this own goal from Al Hazm here is truly spectacular, a lovely lob. But it gets even better back in Egypt, where we've got 2 players involved in one own goal. Lovely deflection straight off the face, mate. Difficult times aren't stopping this Palmeiras midfielder from launching the ball long. He doesn't need a boot to spray a long pass. Meanwhile, in Iraq now, and this goalkeeper's had an absolute stinker. Goal! Closer to home, and Leicester are back on the trail for promotion. They went through some shambolic form, bottling a massive lead they had in the winter. They're back on track though now with a win against West Brom and Southampton, and Jamie Vardy was letting West Brom fans know that they would still be in the Championship next season. At Blackburn now, and when you look at this piece of play, it's no surprise to see they were down in a relegation battle for most of the season. One team on the verge of promotion though were Gateshead, until they were banned from the playoffs because their council refused to confirm that their stadium would be theirs for the next 10 years. Absolutely disgraceful. I mean, I don't really know the ins and outs of this, but it's a ridiculous decision from their council, and such a disappointing way to miss out on promotion after so much hard work across the season. At Boreham Wood, and they are looking for manager applications on Twitter. Can't imagine they'll be too pleased with me when I turn up with my FIFA 14 career mode credentials. At Basingstoke now, we might have one of the longest range goals of all time, a player scoring from the edge of his own area with the goalkeeper up for a corner. Even more weird stuff though at Ashton versus Matlock, as Ducks interfered with the state of play. Now back in Brazil, and we've got an impressively bad own goal here. Almost kind of looks purposeful in the Paulista Cup. And the own goals keep on coming. There's really been quite a lot of them this week, but they just keep getting better. As in Sweden, we've got a looping one absolutely yammed by a defender, only to dip over the goalkeeper and under the bar. In Japan now, somebody should probably tell both the teams that they need to come out and actually play the game when the referees walk out with the ball. Staying in Japan, Mikuni here has had a pretty eventful last 3 minutes with a goal and an own goal in the 65th and 67th minute. But not quite as an eventful day as FC Machida Zelvia youth, who won a game 27-0 in the Japanese youth leagues. Meanwhile, in Sweden, there was at least some wholesome stuff there. Sven-Göran Eriksson is an absolute legend at IFK Göteborg after delivering silverware in abundance for them and winning a surprise European Cup. After being diagnosed with terminal cancer, he was obviously given an opportunity to manage a Liverpool Legends game, and he was given a rousing ovation from the Swedish supporters there as well. A man who is much loved in the beautiful game. Now that it's time for Still 0-0, you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring you the best of Sunday League and amateur football, and there is absolute chaos in the clip you're about to see. This quite literally has everything, because you're about to see the maddest scramble, maddest challenges, and at the end of it, something you can't quite believe.
Go! The ball!
I'm gonna just ask the linesman, okay? How can this be offside when the defenders passed it to the attacker? Nobody in this entire clip is competent at anything. On to the weird stuff though now. First of all, in Hong Kong, we've got a recent league match between Kowloon City and Citizens FC that was postponed for an unusual reason this weekend. Now, usually a postponement, right? Synonymous with waterlogged pitch. Not usually because the referee didn't turn up to the match. Unfortunately, not a huge amount of details on this one, which is a bit of a shame, but it has had to be rearranged rearranged to May because the official just didn't bother to. I don't know what the reasoning is. If someone could let me know down in the comment section, that would be amazing. Next up, we head down to the 9th tier of English football in the Midland Football League. Highgate United needed a ridiculous goal difference swing in order to make it into the playoffs for the league. And that meant the scoreline they would require in order to overcome Studley and Dudley Town, not all of the teams in this division actually rhyme together, I swear, was a 12-0 scoreline. And unbelievably, on the final day, they managed it, beating Bewdley Town 12-0. Now look, I know what you're thinking, sounds like a heck of a lot of match fixing, but Bewdley Town are actually bottom of the league and have been shipping goals like this all season. A truly sensational league comeback. And finally, we head over to Brazil, where Cariri, great team name by the way, celebrated getting promoted from their regional Brazilian division. But the unusual thing about this team is they are owned by a company that runs funeral homes. Now this has been getting a lot of attention from rival fans and they've been getting mocked for it for a little while. So their players, in honor of that, decided to play dead as their celebration at the end of the game. Amazing stuff. A creative way to get back at your enemies. That though is going to wrap up football this week and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.